Traffic Jam is on now.
Welcome to Traffic Jam. I'm your host and moderator, B Love from LGL Real Talk, and today we're discussing Monique's Netflix special. Before we get into the topic, I'm going to go ahead and introduce my panel of comedians, starting with Dennis White. Hello, Dennis, and welcome to the panel. How are you?
What's up? I'm great. It's your boy Dennis L.A. White. Getting it in, man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. And one of our faves is in the building, Mr. Talent, the comedian. Hey, Talent, how are you today?
I'm fantastic. It's playoff time, so you see how I'm living.
Yes, I'm not mad at it.
You see what it is,
not
man.
Mad at it. Not. That's the only thing that I can co-sign here. Everything else I got to be neutral on. For sure, I'm signing up. Maya, hey Maya, how are you?
I'm good. I'm glad I could make it. I don't know how much help I'm going to be, but I'm here.
Well, we appreciate you always. Thank you for coming. Hey, Marvin, how are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm glad to be a part of this. How y'all doing? How everybody doing, man?
Man, all good. You know, it's a Friday and we ready to talk that ish. So let's go ahead and get this conversation going. On January 19, 2018, Monique called for a boycott of Netflix for color bias and gender bias. Monique called out Netflix for allegedly offering her $500,000 for a stand-up comedy special while offering millions to fellow comedian Amy Schumer. Wanda Sykes joined in saying thank you for speaking out, that Netflix offered her less than half of her $500K offer. She was offended, Wanda was, but she just found another home. Why not do that? Why not just find another home as opposed to starting a boycott? Dennis?
Well, you know, we all talk about inclusion, and I felt that's what her argument was. Mm-hmm. But she should have took hers to Tubi. That's the level it was on.
Okay. You mean the current special?
Yeah.
We're going to get into that in 1 second, Dennis.
It should have been a Tubi
Why not
original.
Go ahead and take her show somewhere else?
First of all, that's the best line I've heard ever since this happened. She should have. There's a Tubi level special. That's hilarious. Why not? That is the question. Because to me, we talked about this a couple of days ago when it happened. It's kind of an oxymoron or a hypocrite moment. If it's very hypocritical. And why would part of your settlement, you're suing these people. You're saying that they don't want to include you, they don't want to respect you, they don't look at you a certain way. So when you sue them, why in return, when you win the settlement, would you go to the place that don't want you there? Like, I'm not suing my wife to live with her if she don't want me in that house. I don't want to come home somewhere I'm not wanted. That was like ass backwards to me. So that is the question. Like, why would you go there when you got your settlement? And here's the thing we got to look out for. It's a double-edged sword. Double wrong was done. A, she did wrong to herself by going back there, including herself with people who are non-inclusive, right? And then B, in a settlement, you never got the apology, the public apology. See, that makes a difference. One thing, call it what you want, call a spade a spade. One thing white people hate the most is being held accountable. They hate when they got to pull that podium out. That's why it's a big deal. Like, black people don't understand why an apology is a big deal, because that's how they live. Like, that is the ultimate, I'm wrong. I'm saying it out my face. I'm taking accountability. We never seen a live apology from Netflix to Monique. And then on top of that, you go right back to the place you spent 4 or 5 years tearing down to do what? Give them your artwork?
Oh, there comes a point where, I don't know, there comes a point where you got to learn to still get along and not blow everybody up. And as someone who's, has spent a lot of time blowing people up, she's a lot older than me. She should know this by now. This is a business of relationships. It's not a business of talent. And also too, I mean, Amy Schumer, you know, it's a very strange, you know, we're still dealing with race. We're dealing with a lot of stuff, you know, like Black comedy has never really, outside of, you know, Dave Chappelle, which they're still considering Chappelle to be here. They don't consider, I don't think anybody considers Dave Chappelle Black comedy. But weirdly, does America look at Richard Pryor as Black comedy? It's like, it's the comedy that like white America has loved, you know, but they'll go and see Richard Pryor. They would go and see Richard Pryor, but then he'd be cussing like he's like, you know, free on a stage talking about stuff. They'd be like, well, he's too dirty for me, but yet he, you know what I mean? So it's a very strange place. Now, we're also in a space where, you know, doing Def Comedy Jam, we would get banned from being in a mainstream club. If you had a Def Jam on your resume, which I have a Def Jam on my resume, they let me through because they're like, oh, well, you don't have to talk. You're not like them. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm the least funny of the group that I'm on. The show that I'm on has got like, you know, like JB Smooth and talent and this and that. But you know, you can come this way, you know? So I've seen some of that, but you know, now, you know, when you're coming from those places, it's been all over. We've watched it forever. They only let like 3 Def Jam comics ever play the mainstream rooms in New York City. You know, you had to be on a chocolate sundae if you're in Los Angeles. You know, I know now Jamie Masada is being super conscious about trying to raise the profile of Black comedians in his club. I know that since George Floyd, I know that Jamie Masada shut down Sunset Boulevard to have, every time someone was murdered by the police, he would have a vigil and let the comics come out and protest and stand in the street. And they called every other club in Los Angeles and said, do you want to join with us? And they said, no, we don't want to get involved. Damn. So, you know, as much as we think we are out of this, we have half the country completely loading up on guns, passing gun laws that are saying that we don't have to have a background check in Florida, and you can carry and conceal. We are not out of this. And this is like the setback from Reconstruction. We're dealing with an Obama state, you know? So, you know, if you're going to try to act like we're in an equal space. Now, Monique's career happened through Montreal, and the guy who makes the decisions at Netflix is through Montreal. Yet if you went to visit her up in Oxnard or some of these venues, she wasn't selling out comedy venues, but she had an Oscar. But that's just the way of the business. And the way of the business is, if you don't go in this place and you don't like it, then you keep moving, or you keep building your profile to demand more. Look at what Chappelle had to walk off. Chappelle had to leave and disappear and get buried. And then he still came back. So, you know, this is the struggle. This is the business. This is what we signed up for as artists of color. We knew that we were going to be marginalized, completely marginalized. I get one opportunity, but then everyone wants to go Black. And then they go, we ain't going to take her because we want everything Black and she's not Black enough. And then I got a special, which was, they did all Black comedians. And then they asked me for my mother's pictures because they didn't believe me. I said, you want birth certificates? What do you need? Wow. But I called Chappelle up, and he said, oh, they're vetting Black people now. so we're still in this. They can't even cast us as people of different complexions and different sizes and shapes. And we're still in this. So she could say what she wanted. She got it. She can make a stink. But, you know, Whoopi once said to me, are you willing to pay the price of standing up? If she has enough money in the bank and she could walk away, then go ahead and build a stink. But I think it turned off a lot of people, and not just people who would have been normal Monique supporters. And I don't know if this special is a thing that could dig her out, but you know what? She repaired her reputation with Netflix. They were open to her. Right. But you know, not everybody's going to get their first big money special. Like, she's not drawing as a comedian as much as she was as an actress.
Got you. Phipps, what do you think? Why not find another home?
I don't know, man. I think she should have. She was that upset with Netflix in the first place. She should have just went somewhere else. But just watching Monique over the years, she took the challenge to stand up to them. And I'm glad she did. But she put herself in a situation where she she had to deliver, even going back to them after, she wanted us to ban. She wanted people to not fuck with Netflix. And then she ultimately went back and took the deal, and she didn't tell the people that she told the band, hey, go get, unban them now, but it just put a lot of pressure on her, in my opinion, when she went back and took the other deal and moved forward. But yeah, I think she should have went somewhere else, and shot a special and made Netflix regret not giving her what she asked for, what she thought she was worth in the first place.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
Now after all of that's been said and done, she now has a special on Netflix. Have you guys watched it?
Yeah,
Dennis,
unfortunately, I can't get that time back.
That's what I said.
It
I said
was
the same thing.
unspecial. Her
Back.
special was unspecial.
And I seen it on Tubi. So when you see it on Tubi, it's an hour and 49 minutes. It's great.
It was on Prime.
Not Tubi.
The thing about it is that, with the specials that Dave Chappelle has had on Netflix, he kind of raised the bar, and she just wasn't. It just wasn't on part of that. And look, I'm not mad at anybody getting their money, but her whole lawsuit with Netflix is like me, suing the Knicks for not letting me sue it up because I had a good game at the Rucker. It's like I'm not game ready. I'm not NBA ready. She's not Netflix ready, obviously, because of the quality of her special.
Okay.
I echo what he said. One of the things that rings in my head is we were interviewing earlier in the week Ali Sadiq, comedian extraordinaire, who's dropping a special this month. And he said the most profound thing. He said, when you reach a certain level, he said, as a comedian, he said, I refuse to accept mediocrity from people whose status is up. Once you reach this week, she's one of the queens of comedy for us. At one point, Monique was the funniest Black woman we had out there pound for pound. So for this special to come out and be what it is, I agree with what he said. Like, I refuse to accept the mediocrity. This is literally a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10.
I don't think it's good. For as far as what she went through, and this is supposed to be the proof of, what she fought for, being funnier than Amy and being considered a great like Dave Chappelle and the Chris Rocks. And like I said, it just put a whole lot of pressure on her because that's what I was watching for. I was watching for a comedian to come out swinging, to show the world, like, y'all should have gave me 30 million out the gate. Here I am. I'm Monique. I'm one of the baddest bitches in the game. I'm one of the queen of comedy, and left with no doubt in our mind after this special why she should have got that money, and that she didn't do that for me. She didn't do any of that. Actually, it made me question, like, have Monique ever been funny? Because now I got to go back and watch old stuff to see, like, why was, and it kind of make me feel like this why Netflix was offering you what they was offering you, which wasn't bad anyway, 500,000. If you got more than that for this special, you kind of stole money. you kind of took, you kind of steal it, but whatever, I like Monique, I just felt like homegirl, coming out of what you just came out of and going against Tyler Perry and Oprah and all these people, this was your chance to show everybody, because we all was watching. And I don't think if you put out another special, are we watching that? You know what I'm saying? It's like,
right.
I don't want to see nothing else. You show me what you can do. So,
and
respectfully. Yes.
Say no, thank you.
Right.
Maya, you said you didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't
You
see
did.
it.
Okay, but I'm sure you've heard and gotten some feedback. We've
Yeah.
talked about how funny trumps everything. Based on the feedback that you've heard, what are your thoughts?
Well, I feel like I wasn't someone to rush to go see it. Not that I don't want to support her. I've kind of been traveling. Has been more the reason. I do know that Leslie Small was the director, who was wonderful. I love Leslie. He's been a tremendous supporter in getting me back into the world of comedy. And but I feel like it's almost it's if the feedback that I'm getting, that people aren't feeling so strong about it, I'm wondering, it's almost at that point. Sometimes you just take the money and you prove yourself on the thing. I mean, she's a different style of comedian than, just because she's a Black comedian doesn't mean she's the same style of comedian as Wanda Sykes or Dave Chappelle.
Right.
If you look at who's playing, and she's out of the East Coast. So like you look at who would Esty and Manny put on at the Comedy Cellar or at the comic strip. Like this, there's guys that are, and the reason for that, a lot of it is, some of it is the way comedy transcends on camera. I think that people also miss that. So like sometimes you might do something and it may kill in a club, but it doesn't really transcend on camera. Like I said, I feel like her stand-up got her position, and it got her position because she came through Montreal. So the team over at Netflix are the Montreal selection people that got her to a position, but then she became an actress,
Right.
and then so there's a difference. Sometimes there's some people that are just having to rebuild themselves as comedians, and did she do the job, or was she busy fighting with everybody? There comes a point where you have to be humble and just buckle down and fight. Like I remember years ago when Chris Rock left SNL, and everyone was like, there's no way Chris Rock's going to be a great stand-up comedian. No way. Nobody was thinking, oh, Chris is on the road, whatever. He stayed on the road till he had it. And when he came into New York with that first comedy special hour, and we were all standing in the back at Caroline's watching him run this hour, it was mind-blowing what he pulled together. And, the bottom line is, you gotta do the work. You gotta, So, she did the work as an actress, but sometimes I think that's, sometimes it feels like we're working in the business towards a fan base or towards a position or this and that. No one, like what her and Jamie, the only ones out of that, like Def Jam group that have landed an Oscar, they're different lanes, and there's different ways there's different ways in comedy. I said to her comedy background, she's not in the same style of some of the comics that have been more successful on camera. And also, Amy Schumer, who I'm not a huge, I don't watch Amy Schumer really. But she also has a lot of support, writing support too, I believe, as well. And by people that will posture her. So sometimes it's also the team that's behind you.
So then it begs the question, after all of this ruckus being made, is it safe to watch Netflix now that she got her special? Is it okay?
I guess in her world, because that's what I mean by the contradiction of things. I guess it is now. Now it's okay. Now Netflix is not bad. Now they're not racist. Now they're all those names she called them during her thing. Yeah, let's not forget, she went on a 5-year rant, like a 5-year. She called them everything under the sun bad.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden they cut the check. They're not racist anymore. But that's a problem. That's always been a problem with our people. We don't never take we never fight the war. We always fight little battles and little fights to get a check cut, but we don't hang around for the big result. Look at every Black person, Black people get in a car accident. They never thug it out to get the millions that they're entitled, that their body's going to feel later down the line. Need. They get that quick because they're ready to cut it right now. When they're cutting 150,000, it's settled.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what she did. That's what she did to me. But I never stopped watching that. And most Black people haven't, because who the hell stop and watch something cost $10 a month? It's $10 a month. I get all that programming. Monique kiss my Black ass.
Well, I don't pay for mine. I steal mine. So, wait, I'm just playing Netflix. I'm just playing. Don't turn me off. Nah, but you know what? It's what's the amount of platforms for entertainment that we have, and the quality of comedians. You know, talent is one of comedy's icons. Like he's been in the game for so long, and his quality of stand up is the par. And when we see comedians, we expect that. You know, we spend our time. We're busy. When we sit down and watch a comedy special, we want to be thoroughly entertained and something different and get a great viewpoint. And that wasn't that. You know, only thing we found out is that, you know, she like eating the box. You know what I mean? That's the only thing we found out.
Right.
That's it. She revealed a ton of stuff in the midst of throwing an entire family under the bus. We found out she wanted to eat some coochie.
Yeah.
Her coochie stink for a number of years. Her mom, the auntie sold coochie. Mother couldn't read. The other one brother molested. The other brother messed the business. Where was the jokes?
Right.
And here's the thing about comedy. It's a craft where how many times, guys, we've lived long enough, seen enough specials that we were able to see people talk about their livelihood, talk about their childhood, talk about their life in general, their kids, their mama, how they was raised, everything under the sun, and still put it in joke form and it'd be funny. This was a long hour rant that barely got chuckles. And if you know anything like I know, go back and watch it again and listen to the laugh track. Look at the editing shots not matching up. This is because this is what you have to do when you edit a special that's not funny. When you do a special that's freaking hilarious, all you got to do is chop it down for time purposes. But when it's not that funny, you make it harder on your producers and directors and editing people in the editing room to put something together that we can release. Now, here's where I put the fault on Monique. Because a lot of people who don't know no better, who's never done these things, will be like, well, maybe they edited bad and they put it out. And no. You know who the main person is to get to see it before it gets released? You. If you're, God bless the dead, Whitney Houston, Luther Vandross, LL Cool J, DMX, Ali Sadiq, whatever, those artists, when they film a special, they get to look at the finished product and say, I could have did that better. You know, even Chris Rock, if you look at his last special, he messed up in a part in there and he went back and changed, said the wording so that for later, when they edit it, you'll never know. And right now, if you look at it now, you'll never know. He's that professional. But I just think that, like he said, she's been around too long, done too much, you know, paved the way for a lot of young sisters and brothers because, like I said, she was so good. Women like her swing with the men. You know, when we talk about this comedy thing, when you're really, really good, I don't care if you're male or female, we lose sight of your gender. You're that good. That's how good anybody want to be at anything they do, so that you don't say, I'm the best woman, I'm the best man, I'm the best short guy, best tall guy, best fat guy, best skinny guy. I'm just good.
Okay, well, then it begs the other question of, is this the new way to get a Netflix special? You know, bringing legal action or starting a boycott, doing all of these things to get the attention that you didn't receive?
No, I don't think it's the new way. I think this is, and if anybody else thinks it is, you're about to get a door closed so bad on all of us, depending on who the person is. See, a lot of people, let's be happy that, I don't know who's in the front office at Netflix and who makes XYZ decisions on a daily basis, but I can tell that they didn't really look at her as our representative. When I say our, I mean the skin color and our ethnicity. And that's a good thing for us, for the rest of us. Because the minute someone that they do look at as a voice, a representative and a leader of us do something like that, we're gonna pay the price overall, everybody. This was one of those things that somebody over there was smart enough to say, okay, this is an isolated situation where she's tripping. You know, and when people fight for this, they always try to pull other people in to make their point, and not knowing that you're putting them on the firing line sometimes. But I thank God that people over there in power didn't look at her like Chappelle. Chris Rock, you know, all those people that people follow like that, like Eddie Murphy and all. I'm glad that they said, okay, well, as good as she is and as well known as she is and talented as she is, we're not going to look at her as gatekeeper. So we're going to handle Monique, Netflix versus Monique, or Monique versus Netflix, and the chips are going to fall where they may.
The Fox thing hurt Dave. He ended up not getting, he was getting like $1 million a year from Disney for like 10 years to develop a sitcom. And then went on Fox, it didn't do well. The only thing at that time, he was offered very little money to do Comedy Central. And he just got on and he did his work, and he was funny as can be, and people loved the Chappelle Show, and they put everything they had marketing wise into pushing that Chappelle Show. And that's how, like, Comedy Central wasn't doing that level of promotion, but that year they went nuts, and they said, if we're going to get Dave, we're going to go crazy. And his funny got him back. You know, you know, making waves in this business is always rolling the dice, you know, and it does not mean, but I guarantee you there are more people that didn't come back than the couple that did. You know, even with talent.
Phipps?
Yeah, I agree. If you're gonna make those waves, you gotta be incredibly funny and do some things to back that shit up. You know, when you get all those eyes on you and watching you, when it's time for you to deliver, you got to deliver. So, you know, I don't think no one is sitting down saying, well, we're going to do this to do that just to get the special. I think people just going through what they feel and believing what's right, and then ultimately it comes back like that. But that's not the plan. You don't want to go against these people, man. Hell no. No.
I got to give you this fun fact because people don't believe it. The number one complaint about Monique's special, My Name is Monique, the number one positively complained by the masses is the vulgarity of the language, the over excessive use of nigger, motherfucker, and fuck. Pardon my French, right? Okay. Now, to give you an idea how bad this was, comedian John Phillips told me about it. He's seen it for me. He was like, I was like, how was it? He was like, yeah, it's like you're just cursing too much, right? So now I'm on guard because he said that. So I take it upon myself and say, you know what? I'm going to count the curses. I'm going to count the MFers and the F. You know, that's it. I didn't even count the N-word. That was crazy too. But anyway, 11 and a half minutes in, 50. Every 12 minutes after that, another 50. I stopped at 200, and it was still 17 minutes left in the special.
Wow. That
is unbelievable, atrocious. And this is a woman. I hate to bring gender into it, but I'm sorry. No disrespect to any woman. I expect more class from women. I'm sorry. I think dudes are goons half the time and idiots and morons, but I don't expect it from women. I guess I was raised by all women. I got 5 sisters, and I guess my brain is wired like if an alien nation came down here right now, I want a woman to speak for us. I think it'll work out better. I think you know what I mean? We'll survive. We'll get more out of the deal. So when I look at a woman, especially with her vernacular and her articulation and what she's saying, I'm not saying I like a good curse word like the next person, but 50 every 11, 12 minutes. Do you understand? That means everything was MF. Right. I woke up in the MF in the morning. I got a cup of MF coffee, put the MF sugar in there, got my MF spoon, and put it. Girl, we got to do better.
Girl. Okay. Well, listen, I just want to say thank you both so much for your time today, for your input, for all of your, thoughts on this. Dennis, why don't you go ahead and tell us where we can find you, how we can support you?
Sure. You can find me on all social media platforms at Dennis L.A. White, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, OnlyFans, whatever.
OnlyFans, okay.
My company's called Act Like You Know. So actlikeyouknow.org. We give acting classes and workshops across the country. And I have a movie on Tubi called The Prayer. So make sure you support that. And we got a lot of other movies coming out and everything. So I appreciate everyone that's always, supported me and backed me. And it's just all love. And I'm not going to sue you guys.
Okay, please don't, and thank you. Talent, thank you as always for being here. Where can we find you? How can we support you?
Absolutely. My Twitter's hacked right now. Give me a few days to get that back up at It's Just Comedy. But you can find me at Talent the Comedian on Instagram, talent at itsjustcomedy.com, and anywhere on Facebook, just put in Talent, about 10 pages on there. Follow your boy, holler at your boy, and trust me, I take my time when I put my special together, but it will not, I promise you, it will not be the 3.
We need a Netflix special with Talent. That's what we put
really
in the
do.
atmosphere.
Right after I boycott them and sue them, I'm gonna put mine out.
And then go to their competitors.
The name of mine is gonna be Talent Harris. This shit could have been on Tubi.
Oh my God.
Right now, I'm in Washington, D.C. I'm doing a show at the Wolf Trap this weekend, but you can, I'll be back at Laugh Factory in L.A. And you can actually, I got a new podcast. I need everyone to go to my podcast. It's called Maya Don't Know What the Poop She's Talking About. So that's, in case I can't swear, Maya don't know what she's talking about. So go to iTunes and follow me, please, and Spotify, and give me a good rating because I need to get my numbers up. I'm desperate.
Okay, I'll for sure come check you out. Phipps, where can we find you?
I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina this weekend. We got 4 shows, 2 tonight, 2 tomorrow. I'm opening for Corey Holcomb. And then next weekend, I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. And so your boy just moving around, man. And I've been checking out Maya's podcast too. It's funny. So definitely go check that out. And yeah.
That's a cosign, Maya. That's a cosign right there.
Yeah, I see it. I see it working. The clips on Facebook. I'm like, look at homies who working. Yep.
Okay. I'm your girl, Bila from LGO Real Talk. Make sure you support and follow us. See you guys soon. We're out.
Peace.
This is the Traffic Jam.